I was wrong. 3 words I absolutely hate saying, but ones I can't deny. For years now, I believe the same myth is circulating social media at the moment. I mean, arguments between me and other owners are probably still circulating the depths of the internet. However, it's time to clear the air. Today, we're talking about horses' skeletal development, when they've reached maturity, and when it's okay to ride them. Hey cowboys and cowgirls, and welcome to the Bitless Podcast, the unfiltered podcast about all things horses and horsey people. Although, does this even count as a podcast? Whatever, enough with the formalities. Today's topic is quite a controversial one, but it's one that's far too important to ignore. So let's get started, shall we? Something deep inside me always seemed to cringe at the prospect of riding young horses, their childish antics and playful attitude making it seem far too cruel to throw a 3-year-old out into the arena. It was actually one of countless reasons I left the equine school. They challenged my stubborn beliefs. Once I landed on TikTok, any chance of redemption was over. I chose to surround myself with an echo chamber of only those who shared my opinions, never those willing to disagree with me. Anyone who dared to differ from my thoughts was quick to be labeled an animal abuser or worse. Other opinions were blocked faster than I could even think. I'm ashamed to admit that it was only far too recently that I chose to actually sit down, have a cup of coffee, and truly research this claim that had been screaming from the rooftops for so long. Blogs, TikToks, YouTube videos, they all seem to agree with my previous opinion, but there were no factual studies. Little by little, I got more frustrated. There's no way there aren't any studies, like not a single shred of evidence in any of the content I was consuming. But, there was evidence, plenty of it, just none that reassured me of my own idea of truth. None that supported the claims in those YouTube videos. The U.S. Natural Library of Medicine published a study in which it reveals horses lightly exercised and backed by the age of 2 weren't only fine, they actually fared better than those backed much later. Similarly, the Kentucky Equine Research Study agrees with the statement, claiming horses to be mostly grown by age 2. Even the Mississippi State University agrees, though it's important to note that maturity can differ slightly based on breed, genetics, diet, and health according to them. The Alberta SPCA claims horses to be considered adults by age 3, though they do not mention a proper age suggestion for when to begin to ride them. All in all, from the limited studies available, it seems they all agree that horses can be started at 2 and even benefit from it. Not a single study or website listing credible sources agreed with my views. TikTok? Yeah, TikTok agreed though. And so did that colorful little skeleton diagram so proudly posted beneath any and all comment sections discussing this topic. The diagram, drawn by Naomi Tavian, at EquiNaomi on Instagram, has no proof linked to it. Out of curiosity, I chose to check out her Instagram, only to see an updated version of the diagram, this time with a source linked to it. The source, Timing and Rate of Skeletal Development in Horses by Deb Bennett, PhD, directly disproves the claims the diagram is often used to support. In the diagram, horses' spines are shown to only be fully finished developing by age 6, which many took to mean horses should only be ridden then. But the study itself disagrees, stating, and I quote, "So, do you have to wait until all the growth plates fuse to the bone? No. But the longer you wait, the safer you'll be." I don't know Naomi's intention when releasing the diagram, and to be fair, I really enjoy most of her content. I even follow her. However, I wish to clarify that most people sharing that diagram greatly misunderstand the evidence behind it. Though the growth plates are finished at 6, riding before that does not pose any grand risk. It's not any sort of incredible cruelty. Strangely enough, my opinion has not changed greatly. Though I can and will admit riding a 2-year-old might not pose any scientifical, substantial risk of harm, I much prefer to start horses at around 4 or even 5. Letting horses mature not only physically but mentally brings far more benefits from a behavioral standpoint, as horses not given any time to truly just be a horse and socialize tend to have a harder time learning it later on. Not to mention, you can still work a young horse from the ground. Liberty, horsemanship, and countless other options can be great bases for a future bond between rider and horse. Another thing important to mention is that a lot of these studies and papers that I mentioned are not unbiased. They may be from credible sources, but most of those sources are sponsored by the racing industry. We all know that the racing industry is quite the controversial topic in basically every equestrian platform. And expecting the racing industry to criticize the riding of 2-year-olds is like expecting McDonald's to criticize someone for eating fast food. It would be hypocritical for them to support and fund a study that would directly criticize them for their practices. Make sure to take these studies with a grain of salt. They may be scientific, but they aren't unbiased. According to them, there is nothing wrong with starting a 2-year-old. But there's also nothing wrong in choosing not to do so. We are all entitled to our own opinions and training methods, as long as they're scientifically accurate and, most importantly, fair towards the horses we work with. Shaming each other does more harm than good, after all. So, no, going on TikTok and posting that little diagram beneath each and every video of someone riding a young horse, that's not going to change anything, especially since the diagram does not prove anything. Misinformation is far too easily spread nowadays, especially through social media. It is so incredibly important to remain focused and mature, to check facts before blindly repeating them. Sources, studies, and evidence are the most important allies when it comes to debating which training methods to choose. If you believe starting horses so young is wrong, then don't start them that young. Don't ride them at 2. Wait as long as you see fit. If you believe that starting horses young is beneficial, do so. Both sides can coexist peacefully without throwing the words animal abuse or TikTok trainer around. I greatly encourage anyone listening to read up on the studies I mentioned, with an open but critical mind. After all, we can't learn anything if we stubbornly stay in our own little circles, only surrounding ourselves with people who repeat the same things we believe in right back at us. Opening our minds up and challenging our own beliefs is incredibly important. And sometimes we're wrong. That's okay. That's normal. That's just how the world works. The equestrian sport and horses in general are incredibly understudied. There is so much about them that we don't know, that we don't understand. And there are a lot of old training methods and traditions built into how we handle them today. Just sticking with old methods without being open to learn more in the future, though, that's not fair. Not for the horse, nor for us. Our goals shouldn't be to fight each other. They should be to come together and find the best way to deal with our horses. After all, we are horse people, right? This episode was definitely not an easy one. Admitting wrongdoings is always uncomfortable after all. But I do believe it was a good one, a necessary one, and, most importantly, one that possibly could help shed some light on this difficult conversation. I hope that, at least for one person, this video might have cleared some things up. Thank y'all so much for listening in, and I hopefully will be back soon with another episode. If there are any topics you'd like me to cover or talk about, feel free to write them in the comment section down below. And have a lovely day.